everything he's done has been good. Is he perfect? No, but nobody else is. And if nobody else is expected to be perfect, then you can't be harsh because you feel like you keep moving the bar that he has to jump over. No. So I expect him to manage the offense because he's been managing. I've heard the videos of him corralling the team and the players. You see the first team players, even though they don't want them, gravitated to Shedeur. You've seen Njoku, you've seen Miles, and they scared of both of them. I'm convinced they scared of both of them. There's a more recent video with Njoku, coming, to talk to him or whatever. And, Shedeur's just keeping it business, right? Just keeping it business. So those guys are stepping out on a limb to, connect with him. But I told you, you've never seen Jerry Jeudy do it because everybody is not willing to be who they truly are. Some people are willing to submit. So manage the offense. I think he's going to be good there. I don't think that's a problem. Let me know your thoughts. And it says, I expect Cleveland to stop suppressing Shedeur. I do. I expect Cleveland to stop suppressing him. Let him go out here and play ball like he does at practice. Stop suppressing him. Now, one of the things I don't like to hear people talk about is, again, he has numbers. He has history with the Browns. But y'all want to go back to Colorado and only talk about the negative. He holds on to the ball too long. Here's what's interesting. Pat Mahomes extends plays and they love it. But when he extends plays, it's a problem. I don't like that. Pat Mahomes does the same thing Shedeur does. Shedeur is nothing but a Lil Tom Brady. In fact, last week, his nickname was Lil Brady. So to you to get upset that he holding on to the ball too long, again, 71% accuracy says it's not a problem. When Pat Mahomes does it, it's not a problem. So I don't have a problem with it. Maybe it's just a different way of playing football, but that doesn't mean he's not a good quarterback. So I expect Cleveland to stop suppressing him. I expect Cleveland to stop judging Shedeur harshly, and they don't have no type of requirements for anybody else. The other three quarterbacks they have are not good. Flacco, I confirmed, is 40. He's 2 years older than he was the last time he was there. He wasn't good in Indianapolis, but nobody has any suggestions for Flacco to get better. Dylan Gabriel is reported when he rolls out the pocket, he can't even see. Nobody has any recommendations for him to have a calf transplant, but the point is they still want to roll with him, right? So they judging Shedeur harshly. And then there's Kenny Pickett. Everybody just describes Kenny Pickett as Kenny Pickett, and everybody knows what that means. He's not good. And there are no recommendations for Kenny Pickett. Do I believe they injured? Not really, I don't. In some respects, I think Cleveland thought if they held Shedeur back from the ones, he wasn't going to be accurately developed for preseason. Because why is he getting reps with the ones right now? Because you want to give them to Tyler? They claim Tyler is not going to be around. Knowing Cleveland, they was going to bring Tyler in, think they was making Shedeur upset, like that would bother him. And they probably was going to cut Shedeur and keep Tyler. I wouldn't put it past them. So therefore, not giving him reps with the ones, you are not a viable option for us. So we going to go and get Tyler. It wouldn't surprise me if they went and got Tyler because Shedeur said he had arm soreness and they didn't believe it. But I don't believe that Kenny Pickett and Dylan are hurt. I think they look terrible and Shedeur look better. And I think they believe throwing Shedeur out here at preseason is going to be too much pressure. Oh, he's never run with the ones. If they not playing in a game, it don't matter. He's going to be out there playing with the 2s, the 3s, and the 4s. So is this their type of thinking? Oh, yeah, he going to ball out, but then we still going to cut him and then we're not going to find a suitable trade partner. Understand the collusion from the draft is happening right now. So it would not surprise me if they were not going to find a suitable trade partner for Shedeur. Pay attention. The numbers that we had on the screen, with Shedeur being the best, they still made Shedeur a 4th string. They already talking about the preseason game means nothing. Wait till all of those fans show up. They already had a 4th stringer that they stayed late with, Myles Garrett and Shedeur, because he was missnapping the ball. Let's see if he the center that missnapped the ball. Unfortunately, you have to look for these sorts of things with Cleveland because all they're going to give you is lip service. They only do what they're forced to do. I believe they were forced to put him in this game. They know he played with the 2s, the 3s, and the 4s. They know he could go out there and ball out with the 2s, the 3s, and the 4s. That's what he been doing. They were forced to put him in this damn game. But do they have to set him up for success? No. They already have him behind the pen in training camp. How am I going to aptly compete for a job and I don't get the same opportunities? So you can't trust this organization. In fact, let's see, we have a clip of Shannon and Ocho saying the same thing. You can see how visibly upset they are about the way Shedeur is being treated. This is a small example, a small sample size of how upset people were last night. So let me share my screen. Let's see. All right.
But that's not what they've done. What are the Browns
I don't know what
doing?
they're doing. We don't know what they've done the last 35 quarters.
Do they know? Are we sure they know what they're doing?
They don't. Have they known what they're doing since that franchise has been established? Have they figured it out yet? How are we supposed to trust this organization when it comes to choosing quarterbacks at a position when they haven't figured it out all these years? All of a sudden, now they got all the now they got all the sense.
They drafted Shedeur in the 5th round. They're not expecting much of Shedeur. They didn't, because if they thought that much of him, they'd have drafted him higher. If they thought that much of him, they would have given him a fair opportunity. But that's not what they've done. What are the Browns
I don't know what they're doing. We don't know what they've done the last 35 quarters.
Do they know? Are we sure they know what they're doing?
They don't. Have they known what they're doing since that franchise has been established? Have they figured it out yet? How are we supposed to trust this organization when it comes to choosing quarterbacks at a position when they haven't figured it out all these years? All of a sudden, now they got all the now they got all the sense.
They drafted Shedeur in the 5th round. They're not expecting much of Shedeur. They didn't, because if they thought that much of him, they'd have drafted him higher. If they thought that much of him, they would have given him a fair opportunity. But that's not what they've done.
Now, see, I will say this. I'm going to have to, and again, these guys played in the NFL. They get retirement checks from the NFL. I am of a believer that, yes, they are upset, but there's only so much they're going to say. You heard Shannon say, if they expected much of him, they wouldn't have drafted him in the 5th round. They would have drafted him early on. Now, what nobody says is what I've said umpteen times. They did pre-draft with him. They were going to make him their number 2 overall pick. So they know exactly what to expect from him. Andrew Berry said it. Shedeur will outproduce his draft stock. So why are they holding him back? That's the magic question. You do know who he is. You told us you know who he is. You pre-draft with him. But do you see how upset those two were? Shannon and Ocho? There were people, I'm telling you, last night that had social media on fire. And when you woke, but I think when you woke up today, all you heard is what they were talking about late last night. They were calling them a traveling circus. I said it was a circus. I didn't say they was traveling. I just said it's a damn circus. 6 quarterbacks is a circus.